All right. Welcome back, everyone, after a break. Um, and welcome to this segment led by Dr. Sailesh Rao and myself, and really everyone, on food healers and the K-Mama app and Operation Stone Soup. Welcome, everyone. And Sailesh, I'd like to give you the floor to give us any updates and guidance and how you'd like this session to go. And whenever you're ready, I've got some stuff to share kind of on the big picture, really connecting the conversation all the way to implementation. Happy to discuss all of that whenever you indicate is best. Welcome back, Sailesh. We love you and happy to give you the talking stick. Tell us what's new and what's good.
Well, things are going very well with the app. Actually, I just spoke with the developers. The admin panel is up on foodhealers.org. They are able to do transactions on it, and so everything looks good. But there may be a slight change of focus. So let me explain to you a bigger picture about what is really going on. Myra, I don't know if Myra is here, but Myra has
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, Myra. Thank you for what you're doing. And so Myra connected me with another family. And so she has a list of families who need help, right? She connected me with another family, and I've been delivering food to them every day. And so then I contacted Seva, which is the, Seva means service in Sanskrit. So it's an organization that does service and is run by the Hindu community mostly. And so they were interested in, so they were actually collecting food and collecting masks and all kinds of personal protection equipment and sending it to the Navajo Nation right now. So I asked them, would you be willing to help those in the local area? And they said, sure. So then I said, okay, here is a list of 15 families that need help. And can we have an arrangement where we get a commercial kitchen open, where we cook meals and then have volunteers deliver them to the people who need the meals every day. So basically, Myra has a list of how many people are in each family, so you can just, give them, go and deliver once a day. And that's what I've been doing, deliver once a day, and I give them the equivalent of 10 meals or 8 meals, depending on the number of people in the family. So last family I had 5 people in the family, so I was giving the equivalent of 10 meals. And this one has 4 people in the family, so I'm giving the equivalent of 8 meals. But it's an approximation. So I go and drop off a pallet of meals, and then I pick up the pallet from the previous day. So nothing is wasted, right? And so I usually include a meal and then some fruits or something that goes with it. And so I asked them, so can we not use commercial kitchens to do this and have volunteers go deliver it to the people? And they said, yes, we can do that. And we know where the kitchens are. And it's called the temple kitchens. There are so many kitchens in temples. And the temples are now pretty much idle because people are not coming to the temples. They don't have, and they want something to do, and so they are looking for something to serve the community, and they're saying, if we serve the community, then we get donations from people, so otherwise they are also not getting donations now as temples. So, so that process is starting off, and so we have created like a group on WhatsApp that's going to look into the logistics of this. So this is literally the stone soup you were talking about, Jamin. Everyone brings what they know and puts it together and says, yeah, we can get this done. And so I'm thinking that the K-Mama app now, rather than targeting restaurants, it will be targeting places of worship to join. And so Myra was also talking about a Mormon church that like to give its kitchen open. But the nice thing about the temple is that there is a temple cook. And the temple cook pretty much knows how to cook vegan food, because most temple foods are vegan, you know. So they are, I mean, I think this is going to happen. You know, it's not just temples. I'm sure churches would want to get involved, mosques would want to get involved. So we can get places of worship to get involved. And so then, you know, all the Stripe interface that we have been doing would be just for donations to the temple to cook the food. And so I'm sure people will be happy to donate to the temple. So I think that's what it's going to become. And so I'm going to be talking to the app developers to make it so that, you know, once you assign a family to a provider, they just stay there. It's not like you have to change every day which restaurant you want to order from, you know, because then you have a fixed set of people who can go and deliver to the families who need the food. And every day will be a different meal anyway, because the cook is not going to cook the same thing every day. He's going to be cooking different things every day. It's awesome, right? How it's all coming together. I wish John Rama was here so he could hear this, but I can repeat it when he comes.
We're recording also. He'll watch it.
Yeah, awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Good. So that's happening. So we now have to create a Food Healers website. And since the server is on GoDaddy, I think I have to do it on WordPress or something like that. So if anyone has done WordPress sites and they want to help me, please contact me. But otherwise, yeah, things are going well. I think it's all coming together in its own meandering way. There's chaos and finally there's order, right? In the chaos.
Sailesh, this is so beautiful what you have accomplished. And I want to, if I'm not interrupting, I want to acknowledge you and Myra and Jackie, people who are out there on the streets and working overtime in your own kitchens. And in the process of doing that, in the process of being the change, being the transformation, you got a lot closer to the pulse and found this golden opportunity, because this opportunity is so huge. Here's just what's popping right off the bat. It's an opportunity for there to be a reality and a story of the different faiths coming together and saying, hey, we've got a Baha'i temple over here. We got this part of town. Great. Catholic, there's a Catholic church just to the west of there. They got this part of town. Muslim mosque to the south, you know, Sikh temple, to, et cetera, et cetera. I don't have to go through all the religions. Right. And so and the fact that Sailesh, that you're, you know, not American born, right? I know you're American now, and I'm proud of that fact, that we're countrymen. And you know, you represent, but you also represent the foreign, right? Other countries, other cultures. And of course, Arizona is a really great example of, you know, diverse communities. But check it out. So cover the whole city with the different churches that are already fanned out. And so it'll be not a competition, but a cooperation. They come together. Okay. Secondly, where do we go next? We go out to the farms that are suffering. Most of these farmers are religious, right? So they can be contacted essentially by their own, right? And say, hey, you know, we're working on this initiative led by Dr. Sailesh Rao, and it's all faiths, etc. You know, we the Lutherans are happy to participate. We know that you've been struggling out here. You know, come join us. And then the farmers come to the table. And if we invite the world to this meeting, it'll be a great problem to have when it's swelling with too many people. We go into breakout rooms. Agriculture, room number 1. Commercial kitchens, room number 2. Deliveries, room number 3. Volunteers, room number 4. Sanitation and hygiene, and safety, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All the different committees. And we just do this. This is it. This is Stone Soup taking off. Anyway, I could go on and on.
I just want to
yeah,
say
please,
one
please.
little thing.
Yeah.
I just wanted to add, sorry, he's so much taller than me. I'm like, oh. So I had my art printed on masks since we got to become socially responsible species. And these are like selling like hotcakes. And they're part of a fundraiser for a local food bank. And I was just thinking, listening to you, Sailesh, what if, and I'd be happy to contribute my art, we got someone to make these and the proceeds go towards helping fund feeding the hungry, you know? I think that could be really fantastic because we're teaching social responsibility and we're feeding people in need. Just a thought there.
Beautiful.
Awesome.
See, this is Stone Soup. Everyone's contributing what they got.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. Let's do it.
And Myra has her hand up, and let's see. Go, please. Go for it, Myra.
Yes, I wanted to share something so funny that happened yesterday. So Jackie and I, we go and practice yoga right across from where I live at. There's a big park, and then in the evenings, I usually go walking with another friend, and we just chat while we talk and everything. So yesterday she comes up to me and she says, Myra, don't you think you are being too much, like maybe too wild? And I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, why did you went to the stop sign of the corner of the park and taped a big sheet saying, if you want to stop pandemics, you need to stop eating meat. And I was like, I didn't do that. And I really didn't. So I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, just knowing that we are here, that we are not the only ones, that someone here nearby still has that same intention. I have no clue who it is, but it's spreading the message and putting it on stop signs. That is amazing. I wanted to share that really quick.
Beautiful. Well, no one's in the queue, so.
So Myra, can you also say a little bit about what happened with the Mormon bishop?
Yes, definitely. Jackie and I also, we met on last Monday or Tuesday, I don't remember, for our yoga class. And we were thinking because at the park, well, the church is right next to a park. And then the lawnmower and they were doing all the maintenance in the park. So we decided to do our practice on the green area right at the church. And I know the bishop from that church because I volunteered with them several times. And I also cook for them vegan meals, which they love it. They fall in love with this type of food. And we were like, what if we asked the bishop, most of the church, there's no congregational people going right now because when people go to congregate, well, it's a big mass of people and they're not allowing that. So we decided to call the bishop and see if he could allow us to use his parking space because the way the church is in a corner and then it has an entrance from one side. It has like 3 different exits and entrance. So we were thinking that it could probably be a good idea to reach out to him and to see if he would allow us to use his dining room and the outer area part and the kitchen so we can have people go on a drive-through basis and pick up their meals on a weekend basis or Sundays, Saturdays, whenever we are available as his volunteers. Mm-hmm. So I did reach out to him and he's definitely looking forward to talk with Sailesh and to learn more about the Kimama app and what is the intentions and what are we looking forward for. I mean, I wasn't expecting for him to reply and say, not even saying I'll consider it because it's religious and I know many religions, they want to do stuff for their churches that involves their religion. And he did. Actually, he's very interested. I already forwarded him his Sailesh number, so I'm hoping they can talk and maybe we can get this going on as soon as possible.
Awesome. Thank you, Myra. Thank you, Myra. Welcome, John. We were talking about the K-Mama app and the slightly different tack it's taking. So let me explain to you what has happened. So I've been sort of serving the community here through Myra. Myra has been, she has a list of people who are going hungry and she's trying to get them food. And so she connected me with the family that I was serving for 10 days. And then another family now that I've been serving for the past 3 days. And basically, I just cook enough for 2 meals for the families. So that's like maybe 10 meals in the first case and 8 meals in the second case. And I was taking a tray of food in the once a day and bringing the empty tray back, right? So then I called this group called Seva, which does social service in the US. And so I asked the head, would you be willing to take on this as a larger undertaking with lots of people getting meals, lots of families that need meals getting meals, but the meals are being delivered by volunteers. And then we need a kitchen where we can cook healthy immune boosting meals, whole food meals. And he said, yeah, in fact, the temple is looking for something to do like this. And the temple has a kitchen, large kitchen where they normally feed thousands of people, but nowadays no one's going to the temple. So no one's going to the temple, no one's donating to the temple, so no one is coming to eat. So everything is at a standstill there in the temple too. So he said the temple would be happy to. We can use the temple kitchen to cook the food. There's a cook there who can cook the food. And then we have volunteers who can deliver the food wherever we want. So now suddenly, K-Mama has become a connection between people who need food and temples, as opposed to restaurants. Temples and churches, and which have kitchens that are open for this purpose. And so the payment that we are doing, the Stripe interface that we are doing in the app, now becomes a donation to temples for this particular purpose. And so now, we're going to match the people with the temples or with the churches or mosques or wherever the food is coming from. And then volunteers are going to keep delivering food to them as long as they need it. So that's what it's become. And so I'll speak to the developers tomorrow and get it sorted out. So most of it is already done. So we have the admin page up, admin API up. And we have the API for the temples also. So they know who are all ordering from them. So meaning they get a page. And then they also get a Stripe account where they can get money into their account.
Beautiful. Well, they also have, congregations have members.
Yeah.
The members could be invited to donate.
Right.
A portion of the donations going to the church and synagogue they're already giving to. And then a portion is going to the giving that the congregation is doing to the community through the food.
Right.
It's a beautiful connection. I love that example of synergy. And it doesn't have to be that they can include restaurants, right? I mean, you imagine
it can, yeah. I mean, originally I was imagining restaurants, yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no. I'm just jamming with you, saying that, yeah, I could see why congregations that have these kitchens that aren't being used. It's, there's so many assets and resources that are not being utilized now. It's a new world.
Right.
Discover that. It's like, oh my God, look at all that infrastructure that could be repurposed. It's fabulous. All right, cool.
Okay. So now we have to work on the website for it. So we have the secure SSL sorted out. So we have to work on the website for it, and then the API is getting done. So temples that join or the churches that join will have their own account. And yeah, so I was asking for anyone who has WordPress experience to create a website. If not, I'll learn it. I've been doing websites on Squarespace, which is a much easier interface, but I'm sure WordPress, it's not that hard to figure out.
Yeah, I have a developer who works on Word. She's very reasonable and she's very capable in WordPress. She uses a theme builder inside of it called Divi. Anyway, I mean, you know what I still think though, I'm really excited about this, but there's a couple opportunities where I think we can contribute to this. Is it okay for me to talk, Jamin? I know that I don't want to violate protocol here, and I just kind of was.
Oh, no. You're totally fine. There's only one person in the queue after you, so just jump in. You're totally fine. Thank you, John. The protocol is minimal, actually. Anyway, go for it. You're good.
All right. No, I was just going to say that you still have the opportunity and challenge of getting a coordinator in every community, right? Still seems like, and Seattle's a perfect place for us to try this out. With Louisville, and now Louisville's gotten more challenges in the last 24 hours as well with what just happened there. Mayor Fisher, you could see what a great mayor he is. And gave us a fabulous call to play in the Synergy games, by the way. So, but we're also have a great opportunity for this. We just came off this, Sign, this network keeps growing, Sailesh. I don't know how much you've been paying attention to that because you're a member. But we did this One Earth Live this past weekend. You guys do it 10 stages. There are over 700,000 unique visitors. You look at One Earth Live, and they're a member of Sign, and we made this huge wave in support of this using this platform called Portal, Portl, and we're able to do multiple stages. I mean, everybody, Joanna Macy and one end, Nako Bear, Michael Fronte. It was a lot of the festival culture folks who in the past have had a hard time working together. Everyone realized we need to come together. Now we're doing this event in June called World Unity Week. And it's going to be built upon this. We're kind of doing these as sprints to build our collective capacity to empower each other. And by the way, one of the powerful concepts that's been shared with me that I think you'll love is scaffolding. So Humanity Rising is a group, the Ubiquity University, that we've been doing this with as well. And they're going to have a stage there. But I would love to bring K-Mama and the app to World Unity Week. And we'll have multiple stages there, whether it's going to be one on food, land, water, and oceans, one on communities and cities with the mayors. But those two, I'm integrally in the middle of those and others, but those in particular, one represents a model of what I'm talking about, and then you can see worldunityweek.org. And what's always good for these projects is to have a date. It drives us to get to the next level. I don't know what the next level is here, but I love this idea of getting the app into the hands of communities, including the congregations. And this is a vehicle by which, because you gotta have some amazing organizers here. So it's the Poor People's Campaign is that day, June 20th. It's the solstice. We have this huge indigenous delegation, Arva Looking Horse, World Peace and Prayer Day. Saturday is the solstice. Sunday is this eclipse that's happening. And then it's International Day of Yoga on the 21st. We have the UN involved with that. And then through the whole week, we're going to do open space sessions. And then the following weekend, bookend, is the 75th anniversary of the signing of the UN Charter and the 20th anniversary of URI. So World Unity Week, if you look and see who's involved, it's like such a great opportunity to really embrace and empower what you're doing. Remember, accepting responsibility for enabling another to achieve purpose in the face of uncertainty. That's what we're here for, empowering each other to achieve purpose. So I want super collective intelligence and K-Mama and everything we're doing to rise and scaffold each other and build the next level of love and integration like we've never seen before. I'm in.
Beautiful, John. Thank you. Sailesh, did you want to respond before we get back to the queue?
I love that. Thank you so much, John. Yeah, that would be awesome. That's a great target for us to shoot for. Make sure everything is cleaned up by then. Yeah.
Beautiful.
And I want to talk to my rabbi. I got a lot of interfaith connections here in Seattle. The whole interfaith amigos, Jamal Rahman and Rabbi Falcon, and we can do a lot here. Rabbi Wiener, because I'm in Rock Shabbat. I've been doing that for 18 years. So I'm serious about Seattle. We can do something here, in addition to Louisville.
No, that's a powerful community, John, that you're a part of. Amazing. And right here on Whidbey Island as well. Melissa mentioned earlier she's supporting the food efforts here on the island with her art. Really inspiring. All righty. Awesome. Okay, we've got So in the queue, followed by Jamin. And welcome, Benjamin and Suzanne. Welcome, everyone. Go for it, So. Okay, So may have had to step away. You're on mute, So, if you didn't know that. Okay, apparently So had to step away. All right, next in the queue is Jamin. I absolutely love everything that's happening here. I love this whole process and how we're co-creating. Obviously, Sailesh, you're just taking the lead. You and Jackie and Myra are just blazing incredible trails there. What I would like to offer is that that everyone we talk with about this initiative, at whatever mosque or church or whatever temple, every volunteer, we literally invite everyone to come to this very meeting and say, look, every Friday we meet for 2 hours. It's our general get together. Our numbers are growing. When we get up into the hundreds, and John, I'll look to you for support and leadership here, as well as Sailesh and everyone, we start to fan out into the different committees, into the different areas. This is collective intelligence, and it can be very organic, right? So let's say we got 1,000 people and 400 just want to rush right to the commercial kitchens parts. You got 400 people in commercial kitchens. Let's chunk it out, okay? Faith-based, religious communities and their commercial kitchens, private sector restaurants, government, okay, boom. Now those 400 people can all chunk themselves out into the areas where they either have the most passion, the most connections, the most whatever. This is a free-flowing thing, right? It's not because Sailesh is an expert in integrated circuits that he has to only work on the integrated circuits committee, right? So everyone goes where they want, but so this can organically, just think of like, like a root structure. I mean, that was the original inspiration of Radish to begin with, is, a whole root structure and rooting down. And only by fanning out and spanning all the tentacles do we really have the full parallax view, the full perspective across all these different topics spanned by all these diverse people, and put the message out to India. Well, let's put the message out internationally. If you want to be part of the collective intelligence to end world hunger, food healers, to give it a banner, right? This is the place. Meet Dr. Sailesh Rao, meet John Raymer, meet Jackie, meet Myra, meet all these incredible leaders. Talk with us face to face. This is the new paradigm. We're getting rid of barriers, borders, separations, right? And what better way than interfaith? There's no politics in interfaith, right? All there is in inclusivity, radical inclusivity. It's like, well, wait a second here, right? I'm a Muslim, and I thought you Jews were all, greedy and I don't know what. But John, shit, I love you, man. Dang, wow, and we're all like just working, shoulder to shoulder, feeding people. Anyway, I'm going off, but I just really want to put in that plug that we invite everyone to come right here, so we don't get so fragmented, and that way we really concentrate our efforts. And you'll be happy to know that since this is a big topic, we've designated the next 2 hours. Jackie and I and others had this conversation. We've designated the following 2 hours for food as well. So we've really got 4 hours of room in one contiguous segment managed, recorded, broadcast, supported. So this is I'm just offering it as a platform. And I think that looking at what Sailesh is saying, what John is saying, what I'm saying, what Melissa's saying, we're seeing all these different platforms coming together, right? We're leveraging. So it's like multidimensional scaffolding, using different sets of scaffolding, all with the same purpose. But with this, as this grows organically and it just becomes this giant hub, planetary hub for feeding the world, connecting farmers to kitchens to communities, that's the story. The media will come to us and we can do the press conference from exactly where you're sitting right now. Standing, in my case, in a car in John's case, but wherever you're at, this is it. No need to travel. Brooklyn, what's up? Hey, Brooklyn's in the house. Yeah, we got 2,000 people here from Brooklyn. You know, let this thing explode. There's no reason we cannot reach into the billions because everybody has to eat. And everybody loves to feed people. It's a myth that we can't end hunger. We are the myth busters. Smashing that myth. So are you back? You were in the queue earlier. So in London. Speaking of international. All right. Well, let me just see. Is there anyone else in the queue? Oh, Sailesh, go for it, Sailesh. Sorry. Go for it.
Yeah, no problem. So I was going to suggest that we should have 2 2-hour segments, or maybe 2 1-hour, 1.5-hour segments, whatever you want, but spread 12 hours apart or 10 hours apart, so that it becomes like, you definitely can get to one of those segments. And if we can make that, say, maybe 7 to 9 a.m. Pacific time, and then 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific time, something like that, then I can attend both. And so I can do both, right?
Perfect.
So this way you are allowing anyone in the world to join us and talk about the app, the Kemama app. Now I'm beginning to see it really take beautiful shape, and I think it's going to be incredible. So because I'm speaking to the Seva National Committee this Sunday, and so they are completely going to get on board, and so they have a big push, not just in North America, but also in India. They're very big in India too. So so this can really spread.
Oh my goodness. And the Hare Krishnas have been feeding masses of people for, forever. And same with many different religions. And so this is just like, it's such a natural fit.
Right.
So
yeah. Can I be added to the queue? Add me to the queue.
Oh, you're in. No one's ahead of you. Go for it, John. Jump in.
Okay. So guys, this is such a perfect fit, right? Unity Earth has been something we've been, Sailesh, you and I met there, right? In the World Parliament of World Religions, right? And Audrey came with us, and Unity Earth, Sailesh, sorry. And I want to share with you, if you haven't seen this, I dropped into the chat, Jamin, it's 1 minute and 6 seconds. So what we premiered, this is the trailer for this 15-minute film, but this is the community we're co-organizing World Unity Week with. And we launched it on Unify with the Sign Network. I don't know, there's been over 500 shares of the 15-minute film. I don't know how many shares were of this, but I think it's so apropos for the way you've taken K-Mama. I'd love us to take a look at this. Yeah, go full screen with that baby. Those arrows should let you do it there.
The Mother Earth doesn't understand us and them. The Mother Earth only understands we.
Humanity is being forced to come together as one, as never before.
All we need to move forward is our faith and trust that all the sacred prophets are being fulfilled.
Yeah, that was Megiddo, the Valley of Armageddon. That's where we brought the global fire of one love. It's Bob Marley's birthday. We had done this in Ethiopia, done this in New York. And that community is the one that we are part of organizing World Unity Week with. So the word can get out about K-Mama, really. It's ready. And I love the spiritual dimension that you brought to this, and the recognition that there's huge infrastructure sitting there. The will of people to serve. And is it SEVA, the group you're working with, you said, SCVA?
You're on mute, Sailesh.
Yeah, it's SCWA, Seva.
Yeah, they are like really, that's like, it's not Pat Chadwick. Who's the guy behind that? That's a very well-known service organization.
Yes, they are.
Yeah. What's their roots? Do you remember how they got started?
I think they came out of the Hindu Swayam Sevak Sangh, so it's basically a Hindu organization. And so it's like, how do we do, organized service to the community?
Yeah. The service space too, Nipun Metta.
Right.
So,
Nipun Mettas, yeah.
Okay. Well, we are certainly all connected, and nothing like a good idea as it starts to shine. So it sounds like it's getting close to put our tactical, hats on to bring it into form in a couple of communities.
Right. Yeah. I think this can probably be deployed very quickly around the world, especially with Seva joining us. There are a lot of software CEOs who are members of Seva. So, I was at the last meeting of Seva, and it's like a who's who of Silicon Valley was sitting there.
Right. No, I think that's really important, because people are looking for a way to contribute right now.
Yeah.
Nobody understands really where we're going. It's this moment of, humility.
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah, what I see is, the current system is literally crumbling in front of our eyes. Different aspects of it is crumbling. 30 million jobs got lost in the US, 120 million jobs got lost in India. It's just, it's not going to come back to the way Trump is hoping it will. It's not going to happen. So we know that. And so knowing that, we say, how do we rebuild a system that promotes health, promotes unity, promotes the goodness and the well-being of the world? And so I think it needs to start with a good food system, a base of nourishing food for people.
Yes. That's the one with Wavy Gravy. He was a part of Seva.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah, no, he's amazing. He's the guy who really made Woodstock happen. They hired him for security.
I see.
And it was the smartest thing. But Peter Buckley, a whole bunch of folks that I know, I think, are the ones there. And they're working on sight, too. Wasn't seeing a big issue of theirs, helping people that were blind, the gift of sight.
Have lots of different endeavors. Right now, they were collecting food for the Navajo Nation. So they're collecting food for the Navajo Nation and then giving them personal protective equipment and all kinds. They're sending like a truck to Navajo Nation.
Got it.
Yeah.
seva.org.
Probably, yeah. I think it's.
Check that.
Well, I know the people there. That's all.
Yeah. No, I'm not surprised you would. Take a look. Let's just confirm that.
Okay.
Because I don't want to misinform anybody, but they're a great organization to partner with. Ram Dass was involved. Seva, Sanskrit word, selfless service to others.
Right.
Came to represent for us a dream of relieving suffering and reducing poverty in the most effective ways possible.
Well, you can't get more effective than what we're doing.
No, I love it. And that's what I'm saying. This is such a good partner. So, Sailesh, we'll talk separately to prepare, and you too, Jamin, for presenting at World Unity Week.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks a lot, Jim.
I'm totally in with that, John. Totally.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. And for what you've been doing with not just this project came out, but everything you've been doing with collective, super collective intelligence and the block party. And these are the models we want people to see, how people are stepping up. Humanity is rising. That's the Humanity Rising Solutions. That's Ubiquity University.
Mhm.
And they're brilliant. I mean, what they did was the whole first 7 days were Indigenous women and women. Now they're doing youth. Started with Jane Goodall. Jim Garrison, was a co-convener with Mikhail Gorbachev of the State of the World Forum in 1995. So if you look for solution, Humanity Rising Solutions. I'd be surprised if I haven't talked about that before with you.
Yeah, I'm on their list. I think they want me to speak sometime in June or July.
Yeah, they're going to keep going until there's a vaccine or until we remake the world. We're really looking at it as a 10-year, this by 2030 seems to be the decade we're in, the by 2030 decade.
All righty. Well, I want to encourage folks to jump in by getting in the queue. And we got one person in the queue right now, and that's me. Just raise your hand if you want to get in the queue, or type your name in the chat if you prefer. But John, we're getting a little bit of echo from you. If you don't mind muting when you're not talking, that'd be awesome. Thank you. Awesome. First of all, I'm fully supportive of the 7 to 9 a.m., 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific time. That way it's spaced by 12 hours. So if one time doesn't work, the other will. I'll be here for both of those time segments. I take a break in the middle of the night, but I'll be here for both of those, so we can have that continuity. Are there anything more to say about that, or are we ready to finalize that as an institution? 7 to 9 a.m., 7 to 9 p.m., Friday Pacific time every week. We can also carve out a 2-hour slot during the Solution Club on Tuesday, which, so that way every half week, we've got an organized meeting. Of course, we have the Vegan World 2026 Collective Intelligence meeting from 5 to 7 p.m. Tuesday. So maybe, anyway, what do you think, Sailesh? It could even be a time, you know what? It could even be a time that's sort of right in between the 7 to 9 time, right? So that way it kind of gives a third sort of time window, right? And we spread it around even more, which is perfect, because that would be like early afternoon, mid-afternoon. So what are you thinking, Sailesh, about that? Tuesdays as well?
Perfect. Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. Let's think about the time slot that we want to do, and I'll look to you, Sailesh, because you're our leader here. You are the face of this. So anyway, just think about that.
Do you think we need 2 hours each time, or do you think 1 hour each time is okay?
I think 2 hours is perfect, way better than 1 hour, because the reality is that in that 1 hour, some people arrive 10 minutes late. People then have to say hello to each other. At the end, they have to say goodbye. And in the end, there's just very little, bread left in the middle of the loaf after you've nibbled away at the ends. So, and also, I really think these longer format meetings are super important, right? That people feel comfortable to really express themselves. And also being realistic about where we're headed with this. It's really going to fan out into a whole bunch of other topics. So after talking about timing, the next thing I wanted to talk about was, A, how do we chunk it out into a logical taxonomy of topics? And B, who are the leaders that we reach out to? And C, how do we ongoingly coordinate? Hey, schedule for next week. I'd like to, in the main session, I'd like to present about this for 20 minutes, and I'd like to bring these people, that sort of thing. By default, by email, unless someone has a better idea for how we can coordinate more effectively. And with that, I'm complete. And I don't think anyone's in the queue. So if you'd like to get in the queue, now is a perfect time. All right, it's open. So whenever anyone wants to jump in, please just jump in. John, go for it.
Well, the thing I want to bring back is the mayor connection. So Mayor Fisher having put out the call for the Synergy Games. And the idea, let me just say it, make sure we're all saying the same thing. What we've got here now is an expanded vision of the K-Mama app, that the community can connect the faith and interfaith groups along with restaurants if they choose to, but basically getting people fed again in communities. And the idea of there being a coordinator and us providing the resources necessary to, there's a process here. You identify, you map all the relevant and affected parties in each community. And those parties are then approached. We have resources to help introduce the idea and to get people to, figure out what it's going to be to launch it, what's it going to take to ensure the delivery, the standards of performance for the different roles. I mean, it's a game, right? We're basically inventing K-Mama as a intervention into a community. And the coupling with the mayors seems like a really natural fit, because it brings a level of authority into the community, and we start to have a vehicle by which it can spread by mayors sharing the idea with other mayors. So is it still Tempe the place you're looking to try it out at the prototypical levels, like for our incubator and lab? Sailesh?
You're on mute, Sailesh.
I'm actually open to anything right now, because this is just evolving as we speak. Tempe has there's going to be a new mayor that's coming in, I think, in June. He's going to join as the new mayor.
Okay.
And I know Melvin knows him, and I know the vice mayor. So I know contacts in Tempe, but some of the families that Myra has been connecting me with are in Phoenix.
All right. Well, let me put Seattle in the loop, because
sure,
that's where I'm directly involved with, and have, because of the connection with Louisville and Seattle, because of the Compassion Games. And I think Louisville and Seattle are two cities that I'd like to prototype this in.
Sure. Let's do that.
All right. So clearly you and I need to have, and Jamin, of course, you're welcome. Anybody's welcome. But I don't want to take up more than my fair time here, but I definitely want to know where we are with the app and understand, this. I remember I put that mind map together. I want to update the mind map. I had it going pretty deep on different dimensions of this. You had laid out a list, Jamin, of groups, to working groups, in effect, topic areas, to build a real rollout strategy to launch this. And I love to ask the question, why can't we launch it today?
We already launched it. It's live. It's happening now. Because here's the thing. There's the app, and then there's the app. See, this is the latter. I mean, it's the conversation. And John, as far as addressing stuff, hey, we'll have to talk later about this. Just, say what you have to say in the moment, and then put yourself back in the queue. See, because right now Sarah's patiently waiting in the queue, so we're going to give her a chance to talk.
Okay, I'm good. I'm good.
No, but then put yourself back in the queue as often as you'd like. I also want to welcome Charlie Blass from Switzerland, who is a pioneer in collective intelligence. So Charlie can be a huge support. In fact, he actually was the inspiration for the name Collective Intelligence Block Party, among many other things. Welcome, Charlie. All right.
Hey.
So Sarah's up next in the queue, followed by Jamin. Go for it, Sarah.
Okay, I have two questions. One, are we able to download the K-Mama app just within our internal group as a beta for us to kind of just peruse and check out the functionality, etc.? Secondly, how would you tailor the press conference around this concept? I think it's brilliant. It's amazing. We were at Vegan Toastmasters not too long ago when we meet at a Episcopal church called Grace Lutheran. I guess it's Lutheran anyway. Shows how much I'm about religion. So we meet there. However, we're not able to use the church right now for our meetings. However, I believe if we ask, could we, because we have a good relationship with them, possibly cook there. I just think that this is great. This is amazing. This takes away regular stress from dealing with restaurants back and forth because they also have a lot of cross-contamination too if they're not a fully vegan restaurant. And I'm sure that the kitchen has issues too in the churches and stuff, but for the most part, in a general, it's just amazing. It's really great concept. It's going to work because it's all about serving community, and that's what we're moving towards anyway. So it just seems like a next segue into, the next part of Vegan World 2026. It's just moving to this, how are we going to feed people? And this is the answer. Great. I'm really impressed. But yeah, I just wanted to find out, like John said, I think he's ready to do this. So are we. However, we just want to make sure that when whoever's talking about it and the press conference, that it's succinct, it's very simply explained, and it's pretty easy for people to conceptualize that this is the next step. And I believe that like a lot of news, mainstream would pick it up, because at the end of some mainstream news, world news reports, they talk about stuff that's happening locally in the community. And I think this would be great because it spans many communities. And I think we could talk to Rowdy Girl and talk to her because she's got a lot of contacts. I'm sure Jamin does too. But yeah, just like they've done a story on the CBS nightly news of her that one time. And so I just think that this is very newsworthy.
All right.
Thanks a lot, Sarah. Just to respond to you, I have been getting like an executable link from the developers, and that I'm able to download onto my Android and check things out for the app. I can have them include others on this link so that they can test it out. Or I can send you the link, but right now they don't have the Google Maps interface done yet, so they're working on that. So there are still, a couple of things that need to be fixed in that app. But I can definitely have you, if you're interested, start trying things out. So basically, you can then, I can show you what it looks like. They have this. Oh, I don't know if you can see anything, but. Anyway, it has a list of establishments from where you can order, and it has a list of people who are looking for food. And so then it has to become like dots on a map, and that's what they're doing right now. Okay, but I've looked at the backend database, and so they have everything, all that implemented.
Jamin, do you want to address the press conference stuff?
I do.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I do.
I think that just our group, our collective intelligence group, maybe just a handful of us, 2 or 3, 4 people, look at the app, and just because we want to become familiar with the app. When people ask us questions, we need to know how to use the app, and we want to be able to, like we talked about the buddy system, where we were talking about this in Climate Healers, where we help people be able to initiate this in their own communities, right? So we have to be able to replicate this in a very easy, I really don't like the use word easy, but seamless, right? Because isn't this supposed to be able to be cookie cutter type activism, type feeding, right? So this would be, we really need to keep it on a very succinct, tight level where we're just, this is how we do it here, this is how we do it here, this is how we do it here. It's just like opening up a Starbucks. They have everything. They have the app people can download and order. They have the place where people are going to pick up their order exactly, So it's kind of like that. It's like really user friendly, and it really is easy for the average person to, because we know what's going on, and so does a lot of other people, but that's only X% of the population. You have to remember that not everybody knows how to use these types of apps, especially when there's going to be older people in our community possibly doing the cooking and preparing. And we just have to remember we have to be age appropriate for all. I mean, I know that's difficult in this day and age. However, we just really need to remember that, just to keep it really user friendly, because I think that's how you're going to make it successful. I mean, it's going to be successful. We already know that because we manifest it to happen, but we're talking about like on a global scale.
Yeah, thanks, Sarah, for that. You're absolutely right. In fact, in New York City, so I was listening to the New York City meeting that they had earlier this week by Gail Brewer, who was the Manhattan Borough President. Okay, so she conducted this online webinar on how they are feeding New York City. And it's very instructive to listen to that. And you can see that they are also, all of them are looking at plant-based foods. They want plant-based foods for their community, because they realize that that's how you address the underlying disease issues. And so in New York City, they have created a simple interface where people can just say, text to this number. It's actually 311. You can say text to 311 saying, get food. That's it. And then the text message comes back to you saying, here is where you can go get food if you want food. Okay. So they've done something very similar, very simple. So in the app, what I want to do is to have, like, people enter, this family needs food, this family needs food. So essentially, it's a simple way for people to enter the details of families that need food, and then assign them to people who deliver food. So there has to be this matchmaking going on. So we need Myras everywhere, someone like Myra everywhere. There is also going to be an admin for each local area. So that admin then has the ability to add more temples and restaurants as they need. So because those temples and restaurants, they need to have their own Stripe account so that they can get donations into their account, money into their account. So that you cannot do it through just the app. You can say, I can enter my Stripe details through an app, right? So that has to happen in the back end. So that's how we have implemented it. So there has to be some, experts like, maybe John or Myra, someone who can use a computer to add these places of worship. So yeah, it will be the local admin who has to approve the places where the meals are made. You'll have to be the local admin. So there's not going to be any central control on this. So that's one of the things I've told the app developers. I don't want to see, money coming to climate healers and then having to go somewhere. So that was the first way they implemented it, and I said no. So I want everything to be localized so that it is self-contained. Self-contained in whatever currency they're using in that local area. I'm not interested in that. Let Stripe figure that out.
All right, beautiful. Thank you, Sailesh. We got two people in the queue. We got Jamin, followed by John. And Sarah, I'll start off addressing your question. Now, regarding the app, I want us to all kind of expand our thinking for a moment, okay? So just put on your mental expansion hat. And consider that there's really two parts to the app, okay? I'm just putting it on the table. You don't have to agree, but just consider that there's two parts to the app. There's the part that's going to be on the mobile phone and all that functionality. Then consider that the other part of the app are the 6 hours per week when we come together and meet and break out into breakout rooms and have a general session with updates. And we go into our breakout rooms and we figure out what we need to figure out. We come back for a general check-in, some people change rooms, and we make collective intelligence happen. So consider that the other part of the app is collective superintelligence, and the two are integrated, right? Because yeah, there's a lot that can be done in terms of coding up and buttons and this and that and static information, but there's a lot that's generated in these meetings, including connections, including, all right, we're going into breakout rooms. The following, 47 cities are represented here, and each one has its own room. So if you're in one of those cities, in the second half of the 2-hour session, that's when we go into our individual cities and actually make plans and say, hey, there are these 10 different churches that want to join. What's the process? They're all here. Great, let's talk about it. Okay, great. Da, 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 da. I mean, just this incredible information exchange and personal connections. Business is personal. Nothing is more personal than who prepares you your food, right? And nothing can be more community building. So let's build the community. So that's really what I wanted to add about the app. And then in terms of the story, thanks to Sailesh's incredible pioneering here, the story is now morphing into a story of all the world's faiths coming together, all of them, right? And if your faith is not here at the table, then we're not complete, because we're about feeding all people, right? It's about all faiths and all peoples coming together. You don't have to be of a faith or another faith. You can be agnostic. You can be whatever. You can pray to the moon. I don't care. If you're a human being, right, you're needed here. You're welcome here. You're a part of it. So that's kind of the new story. By the way, Sailesh, I want to volunteer to help you out with the website. I don't do WordPress coding, but I just want to help out in general with content and whatever else. So count me in on that. And then in terms of the different topics that we break out into, and I think that's something we can work on right here. Charlie requested to see the topic map. I know John worked up something a couple weeks ago, but for me, it helps to talk through them, because there's just like a half a dozen big ones, right? There's agriculture, farming. There is, growing food within the cities, whether community gardens, rooftop gardens, windowsill gardens, permaculture, indoor permaculture, etc. So those are the two main sources of food: farms and cities. Okay. Then we've got kitchens. We've got delivery and logistics. Both of the inbound produce as well as the outbound meals, right? We've got volunteers. We've got the cities and just coordination amongst cities. We have government relations, notably mayor and city government relations. We have donations, right? We have the app. Okay, so, we've got a dozen kind of obvious topics that we can chunk out into. I'm just saying that's worthy of some discussion. All right, the queue has become a bit more popular. We've got John in the queue, followed by James in Cork, Ireland, followed by Sarah in Los Angeles. Go for it, John.
All right, so I just put the mind map in there. So here's what I see happening is that as we prototype this in different communities, in my own community, the power of congregations here in this game is that they can provide a kitchen. They can also provide restaurant owners, right? In my congregation in particular, there are people who own restaurants. The facility is huge for a kitchen. And they also can provide donors, people who are members of and they can also provide families that need food. I mean, it's such a beautiful way a congregation can take on innumerable roles here, right? So we find kitchens, we want to identify kitchens. We want to identify not just the congregation kitchens, but it could be that there are restaurant owners who are part of the congregation who have kitchens. So I could see a map. We got to say where those kitchens are, which is the sourcing of the food, people who are donating, and people who are asking for the food. And I think you're right, Sailesh. I would aim to make it as simple as like New York City did there, set an example for it, get food kind of thing. It doesn't have to be that we start there. We can evolve that, but it's such a powerful and simple way to unite that the sooner we can prototype this. I mean, I'm ready to call Rabbi Wiener from Temple de Hirsch, because I know there's restaurant owners there, and they have huge kitchens. They got 2 main facilities, and then we got the mayor here in town. So by their being able to bring the weight of the government, who has the power of making it seem official, like they can. But we can really start with these congregations, and there are few of them in every town, I think, have all the connections we need, including families who are hungry. So the map, take a look at that. I'm going to add to it based upon this conversation. It's where there's quite a few there. You can expand those nodes, including everything you said, Jamin, about the different working groups and stuff from the past. So I'll continue to evolve it there, and I'm going to stop here.
Beautiful. And John, I would just wanted to encourage you to invite Rabbi Wiener just to come join us here. I mean, there is absolutely nothing wrong going on here. I know everyone knows that. I just want to state the obvious, because what I really mean to say is there's nothing to be ashamed of about working through all this stuff together. There's no shame in this. It's not.
Oh, no, my God. Yeah. Jamin, in fact, I apologize for not saying that. I love the idea of integrating our time together. Let me tell you this. We've seen everyone's getting it. The world, it's virtual first. I had meetings with 2 doctors. They were better because they were telemedicine. I had this woman tell me that she had these CEOs who could not get into the same room with each other, but because everyone's got the same size window in a Zoom room, they were more congenial and they were able to reach resolution. This is the future. This is now. This is the way things get done. We could bring mayors together now. To try to bring 10 mayors together into a room would have been a disaster physically, whereas now to be able to do it on Zoom, you can do it in a few hours. So I totally get it. You're absolutely right. And using the block party and empowering what you've been doing, I'm in for that as well. I want to make that clear.
Beautiful. Thank you, John. Yeah, and just to emphasize the point, the old paradigm of, okay, let's meet separately, work out a bunch of stuff, and then we'll be ready. Let's work it out now, and just invite everyone now. There's not a single, like, for example, if Pope Francis asked, am I ready to join this group? I hear about this group. Is this yes? The answer is yes, right now, literally right now, because people are starving, people are dying, and the world is falling apart. And so, I mean, there is no, there may not be a next month we'll be ready for those folks. No, we're ready for them now. Everyone is needed here now. The world needs to come together in this conversation right here, right now. So 3 times a week, we'll be meeting for 2 hours each time. And we've got James in the queue, followed by Sarah. Go for it, James.
Yeah, thanks, Jim. No, I'm just commenting on about the what you said there, no, about the app and what Sailesh was saying about getting it developed and what have you. But I don't know a whole lot about computers and everything else, no. But I'm just saying that I'm not sure if you're familiar. We have it here in Europe anyway. It's an app that all restaurants, all takeout restaurants, they use it. It's on. It's called the What's Eat, or Just Eat app. And basically, it's just an app. You go on it. It's Just Eat. But basically, what it is you put in your location, or you turn on your location on your device. You go into the Just Eat app. It knows where you are. Obviously, you just say Cork City, whatever. And it basically is just a list of the restaurants will come up, and just categorize whether you want Indian food, whether you want Thai food. It doesn't matter, whatever. You just go to wherever you want the food and whatever. But just for what Sailesh was saying and keeping it simple, you could just have on the app like feed 1 person, 1 adult, and then feed 2 adults and 1 child, 2 adults, 3 children, so on. And whatever food is their preference, whoever is signing up, whatever restaurants or whatever organizations are signed up to provide this food, you'd have a list of them then for them to choose which is in their area is coming up straight away anyway because of their location put into the device. So they'll know what is in their area and what's available, and it's up to them to take their choice. And just plus when you make the order, then through the app, all the chef needs to know is what he needs to prepare. So all it is all he gets is a receipt printout in the kitchen saying, I need 2 meals for 2 adults and 2 meals for 2 children. And they're going to such and such a place, and the delivery person so they'll have that set up within their institution. So it's just it's a simple way of getting the delivery system done on with all the amount of or with all the restaurants that are out there in one app. So you could have develop a similar principle. But what Jamin was saying is these apps, every app now is kind of fattened up with different kind of advertisements, whether they're boosting their own app or whether they're boosting similar products or whatever else. But so you could fatten up the app then as well with the links to the different organizations, including the Block Party and all of your own, that were the inspiration behind the app. So then you're giving them the links to join and get interest and get curious that way. So you can kind of combine the two, I think is a good idea as well. Thanks.
Beautiful. Thank you, James. See, what a great fact that we have so much perspective from so many countries around the world. Sarah, go for it.
Okay, so I put my questions in the chat just so I don't forget what I'm about to ask, because sometimes I forget what I'm going to say. So my questions were, what if we can get Thomas from, Thomas, that Prayer for Compassion. What if we can get Thomas to donate the Prayer for Compassion, those receiving the meals, possibly somehow show them that film? I just feel like we should try to help also educate at the same time. I know we're supposed to be just feeding only, but I'm just thinking if it's going to be at places of religion or, even if it's a game center or something, I was just thinking, that's just a thought. Okay, and then also I thought about each place kind of becomes a food bank because the items would be donated. So there's already that going on at a lot of institutions, religious institutions. For example, they've got, like some places have like homeless shelters that are built next to them, houseless persons, and they serve them meals. So they already have the means to, do this, participate, and then getting the congregants to sort of participate as well. It's like, our church is feeding 10 families this week, and here's the grocery list if you want to stop by and drop off this stuff. People want to get out of their house. They're going crazy to get out. Or if you want to socially distance and come and cook or just whatever, I just think that it's definitely a community, feels more of a community effort. Even though it's a worldwide effort, it feels more community based. So I'm not really sure what my question is, but yeah, those were my statements in the chat.
Thank you, Sarah. To respond to you, I definitely, we can ask Thomas to donate APFC. I'm sure he'd be happy to. I don't know what deal he has signed with Amazon Prime though. So based on that, I'm sure he'll make it available. Then as for this becoming a food bank, I see exactly that happening. Over time, people are going to be donating their sacks of rice and beans or whatever, to their church, to their place of worship, so they can cook this food. And they're going to come and help out, washing dishes or whatever it is. I see this becoming a much bigger community effort. But all we are doing with the app is just facilitating it, identifying this particular solution and then facilitating it. All thanks to Myra for getting this, an actual family in front of me, and then having to deal with this myself. So then I began to put two and two together.
Thank you, but yeah, I don't want to take full credit of that. I know Jackie with Sis to Inspire has been also a big part of this. I guess I'm the person in charge of searching for those families, and whenever I have that gut feeling that within those families, there's a certain one that really needs that extra help, then I transfer it to Sailesh, which is amazing. You guys are amazing human beings. Thank you.
Well, you see, and that's the power of the collective and the community right there. Sailesh wants nothing more than to cook and feed people, right? But he doesn't know how to go knock on somebody's door and say, "Are you hungry?" They might get angry. He just doesn't want to deal with that. Myra, you're just like Queen Myra, just flowing in. Oh, you need food, no problem, and and then it's just a perfect handoff. And back to Sarah's earlier comment, about, you know, about building community and all these, the hub of the community is right here in the collective intelligence, in the face-to-face meetings. This is, you want safe social distancing. You don't get any safer than Zoom. And, you know, the ability to go into breakouts and all that. I mean, this is where we're going to pioneer collective superintelligence with food healers, right here, nowhere else, right? And collective superintelligence has been waiting for that soup starter, right? So that we can go super, right? And, you know, and this is it. This is the killer app that will bring the world together. This is it. People feeding people. And it starts in the cities and with the faiths and extends outward to the farms and everything in between. And next thing you know, you'll have a group of young Mormon men doing their new mission, which is to install vertical permaculture inside every apartment, in every project across the world, right? That's their new mission. Permaculture everywhere, growing your own food, everybody eating healthy. You know, they show up with their hazmat suits, they get in, you know, they've already done the sunlight calculations based on Google Maps or whatever. Here's where we think the best place would be. You know, boom, 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 in and out. Here's the instructions. Come here to a weekly meeting for the users group with best tips and everything else. We're just building community left, right, and center. This is the new economy. Sailesh said it best, that this is the basis, the new foundation for an economy. And it's not food for money. It's food because you're a fellow human being. We love you. And then we extend that to all nature. We stop killing and eating animals. It all fits. It just all fits together. Alrighty. I know Myra's in the queue, and let's see here. Charles has a good point there. Myra, go. Myra followed by James. Go for it, Myra.
You know something, I definitely think that it's very amazing to know that within those two families that Sailesh has been feeding, there is a big need within them to learn how to eat healthy. And every time I conclude to myself, you know what, the reason why there is not a vegan world as of yet is because people do not know better than not eating meat, how to replace it. It's more like a re-education of how to cook meals and plant-based, that they are going to taste the same as chicken, the same as carne asada tacos, the same as al pastor tacos. They really are. You're just, because it's not the meat is tasteless. It's the plants that give it the flavor. And people don't realize that. The family that right now Sailesh is feeding, she was telling me how awful her mother got sick and she passed away from not eating well, from high cholesterol. How her, I believe it's his brother-in-law, how he has high cholesterol right now. But then they don't know what to eat. They think that because they grill, and this is because the doctor tells them also, if you grill the meat or the chicken on a piece of grill thing, it's going to be more healthier for you. Humanity just really needs a complete re-education in everything. And it's gonna take time. We gotta be patient and we gotta start little by little, but we are heading in the right path.
Beautiful. Thank you, Myra. James is next in the queue. No one's in the queue after James, so good time to jump in the queue. Go for it, James.
Thanks, Jim. I just wanted to say, like, that in the end of the day, like, there's good nature in everyone. You know what I mean? And also, it's, as with everything else, it's whatever seems to be going on in the general population is contagious as well. So, you know, regardless, unfortunately, a lot of the time, whatever's going on in the population can be bad for us, and it gets contagious as well. But, you know, what I'm saying is, people, you know, there's goodness in everyone, and that can be contagious as well, especially when people start to work together for the greater good. And people just basically people do genuinely just want to help. You know what I mean? And because they feel better for themselves for it as well. Like, and I put a link in there. It's a group that's here in Cork City at the moment, and they've been, you know, they're all, you know, hardworking men and have all, you know, different careers and everything else. But they're putting their own time in to, you know, this food banks now and delivering food out to people in society who are needed, who are cocooning in their houses or, you know, whatever. But it's just it just gives you an idea. The video is only about a minute and a half. It's actually just Tommy McGreevy is a neighbour of mine singing a song, but it's while they're working in the food bank, and it just shows you the friendship and the camaraderie among the people and how happy they are just helping. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying put it on no, but I think it's just a minute video or whatever on Facebook, but it'd be nice to see it in a minute at some stage.
Yeah, I tried to pull it up, James. No one's in the queue right now, so it's perfect time. But I've got a little issue on my end. So if I could get a volunteer who would like to screen share and play the video, I'd appreciate it. Could be anyone. James put the link there in the chat. It's a Facebook link. All right, or we could watch it later. I just have a technical issue on my end. But it's always great to see these short videos.
I pulled it up.
Okay, go for it, Jackie. Go for it. Thank you. And remember to click on the box that says share computer sound when you do screen share. Yeah, it's in the lower left.
It is. Let me find it. There it is.
Around the blooming heaven, will you go, lassie, go? And we'll all go together to the white mountain tide, all around the blooming heaven. Will you go, lassie, go? I will build my love a tower near pure crystal fountain, and on it I will pile all the flowers of the mountains. Will you go, lassie, go? And we'll all go together to the wild mountain side, all around the blooming heaven. Will you go, lassie, go? If my true love she were gone, I will surely find another to pluck wild mountain thyme, all around the blooming heaven. Will you go, lassie, go? And we'll all go together to the wild mountain thyme, all around the blooming heaven. Will you go, lassie, go?
That was so beautiful, James. Oh my goodness. And this is the spirit. And we get to co-create it right here. People are going to be sharing from all over the world in all the different breakout rooms. And so I think we need to think very carefully. I'm really grateful that we've got both John and Sailesh here. John with the Sign Network and Sailesh having, decades of experience in like IEEE committees, standards. I mean, real hard-hitting engineering. Does the chip work or not kind of thing. So, but with all of our collective experience at organizing, right, working with committees and organizing with structure and taxonomies of topics, so excited and so honored to be working with everyone. But I just like, wow, this is it. This is where ending hunger and collective superintelligence come together. And just as a quick little reminder, and Myra, I see you got your hand up, but as a quick little reminder to everyone that beyond hunger, we've got some other really urgent things on the docket, like cooling our planet through solar radiation management, right? Ensuring the entire world goes vegan. Well, that goes right hand in hand with, I mean, not vegan, but plant-based, sorry. That goes hand in hand with the ending hunger. But in order to do SRM in time, otherwise this whole ship is going down, we need collective superintelligence. So let's not underestimate the power of what we're putting together here. Ending hunger is just the beginning, right? But there's going to be a lot to do after we eat. So, all right, we've got Myra in the queue, followed by Jackie and Sailesh. You just jump in when you need to because you're our leader here. So just don't hesitate. And go for it, Myra.
I don't know about you guys, but I honestly wanted to share that I feel so blessed. I feel so lucky, so overwhelmed with joy that for some wisdom, my soul decided to come back in this Aquarian age because I get to witness how we are working together into becoming one, and it's amazing. The feeling is amazing, where we think that all of a sudden there's a lot of injustices, but in reality is the intelligence cosmos pushing humanity to become every time as one. There's no words for that, and I know that right here with Collective Intelligence, with Seeds to Inspire, with UGFnet, and with many more organizations out there, climate healers, we are doing an amazing work all together. And I definitely want us to hug each other and to tap on our backs, because we are, with no doubt, trying to bring that peace and unity within humanity, and it's amazing.
All right, we got virtual safe hugs going on all around. Love you, Myra, sister. Love you all. This is so amazing. Jackie, this is your moment, my sister. Go for it.
I want to thank my twin soul, my twin sister, Myra. The work we do is amazing. The fact that we are living the Rainbow Warrior Prophecy, like Sailesh always shares with us, and all the collective intelligence communities. That's what's happening. We're all gathering together, they're all responding. And I just feel within myself a moral obligation as being a vegan, as being part of this evolution of humanity, the 7 core shifts. I just feel like we're obligated to call out what's going on. And I know a lot of our Black and Brown communities are upset with us that we're not calling out the violence, the sudden rise in violence that's going on. And I think if we're going to have any integrity in this movement, which one of the core values is to create a world of normalized nonviolence, when it shows up, we need to call it out. We need to say lovingly that we see it. We're not just about this. We're about all of the social injustices that are going on. And it doesn't mean we have to go out and protest. It means we just have to make our voice known, that we see it all. And I think that's what's going to maintain us as a community. That's not going to divide us, that it doesn't seem like, oh, we only care about this, but we don't care about this. because in the social media, it's already coming up today. Like, where are the vegans talking about violence about, against animals, but nobody's saying anything about this? And I just feel, at least I can speak for myself, that when I see any social injustice, we have a moral obligation to call it out, give it a name. We see you, and our movement is responding to that. It may not see it, but let me show you the connections. We are fighting for you too. We're fighting for this. It's all connected. And I think if we all make a statement and show that interconnectedness of the movement that we're making, and that it's to respond to this, I think that's what keeps us cohesive and keeps this movement moving forward in a grassroots where we're still locked arms. Despite how it's manifesting, this message is for all of it.
Beautiful.
In London, whenever there's a demonstration, and they probably do this all over the world, whenever there's a big political demonstration, the Hare Krishnas come out with a food cart, and it's vegan. It's usually dal with some kind of pudding, and they're there they're kind of neutral. They're just there. Whoever wants it. Even if an agent provocateur came along, they can have some of the food as well. The police can have, they're not allowed to under their laws, but anyone can have it, any passerby can have it. So that is an ideal model for what's going on with the terrible things that are happening. The young person that was killed. If big demonstrations emerge, which they possibly will, the free food kind of mission can go along in that way. I think that's quite a nice model.
Beautiful, thank you. So we've got Sailesh in the queue, and then followed by Melissa. Go ahead, Sailesh.
Yeah, we have to remember that we are in a system of normalized violence, and that system is desperately trying to not disintegrate. Okay, so they are going to do things like deliberately kill someone and then go blame the vegans for not doing anything about it, just to divide us up in different categories and say they only care about this, so therefore they're not with you. So this is all divide and conquer that's been used for centuries to split us up. And I think So has a great idea. I mean, this is what we need to be doing as vegans. Go and distribute free food at protests like this, where people are protesting what's happening to people of color who are being killed without any repercussions. This is like, how can you allow such injustice, blatant injustice in the world, and still pretend that we are a nation of laws? So I think our solidarity may not be just going and protesting ourselves, but our solidarity should be in the food, because there is only so much we can protest. I understand that. A lot of people who are protesting what's happening to the animals, and they're saying, I'm just up to here with my protest so far. So they are, but this is something that we can do in support of our brothers and sisters who are suffering. I mean, it's not just, everyone is suffering, but this is the system that's trying to divide us up in order to keep it going. And so simultaneously, as we rebuild the system, the new system, we are rebuilding on a foundation of healthy, nutritious food. Okay? So I think that is the foundation of the current system. The current system is founded on unhealthy animal foods. That's the desired foods that we are all going for right now in the current system. And that's how they're creating artificial scarcity. So as people become vegan, they realize that the whole foundation is crumbling. And so they have to divide us up, and say, if you're Black, don't eat vegan food, because it's not for you. Right? So these are the messages that they try to send. This is only for elites, These are the messages they try to send in order to divide us up and keep it going. But we shouldn't fall for it.
Actually, I was referring to within the vegan community. The vegan community is starting to go against one another because we're seeing now the cultural divides and saying, you know, we fight for the animal, we fight for Earth, but when it comes to fighting our Black brothers and sisters are dying, nobody's, you know, if you're white, you're not doing anything. And that's my concern. And I think that's where we need to start remembering that we're all one, and that if that oppression is showing up here, we have the obligation to say, no, we are still all one, and this is how we speak to our community and make the connection. I think it's up to us, even me, that I'm fair skinned, you know, I'm a fair skinned colonized woman. So I have more privilege than anyone that's darker than me, that would be victimized more than I would, that can relate to the victimizations of the animals more than I can. Then I have a moral obligation to use this privilege to make that connection and show exactly why we're doing what we're doing. I have that privilege, and I need to use my voice so that this vegan community stays cohesive. If they're already divided, you're trying to divide us from the outside. We cannot do it from the inside.
Yeah, but what I was saying, Jackie, is that they are on the inside as well. They're not going to just sit on the outside and do it. Okay, they are on the inside as well. They're pretending to be vegan. You know, they're pretending. I mean, you have to assume that, because anyone can put a label on themselves, right? So yeah, so just see through it, okay, and keep us together. We are all together.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right, Melissa had her hand up. Go ahead, sweetie.
Yeah, that's so beautiful what you guys are saying, and beautiful work. And I just, you know, I think about you guys every day because you are so dedicated, and I love you all so much, and your hearts and souls are so in this work. One thing I just wanted to remind us of is a language that we use. And I think it was Mother Teresa who said, when you invite me to walk for peace, I will join you. I won't walk to fight for peace. And so when we use words like fight for, I just wanted to remind us that it's, and I love the word that you use, Sailesh, building. Building is such a great word. You know, let's build towards peace. Let's build towards a compassionate world instead of fighting for it. And the other thing I just wanted to remind us of is to, and this is just going back a little bit in the conversation when I was back at home, was to make this fun. And I think it was Sarah who mentioned maybe doing some educational stuff. I think that's a lovely suggestion. Could we do this in a fun way? Like, I don't know, crossword puzzles for kids about, you know, taking care of the animals and eating this kind of food, or, you know, storybook illustrations about fruit and veg, you know, how the lemon ran away with the orange, and but just, we could make it really fun, you know, and attractive and desirable this way. So I wanted to suggest that as well as part of this whole package of feeding people. And you know, we could have different colored lemons, you know, right, to talk about equity, and you know, that we're all one. Even though we might be a purple lemon, we're still part of the lemon family. So just wanted to suggest that, guys.
I like the fun aspect. I think, you know, unless something's fun, people aren't really going to come on board. But I was watching a video on YouTube last night, and it was in California. I think the video might be 2 years old. I don't know exactly, but 1 in 3 people were unemployed. People who were working at colleges are suddenly out of colleges. Anyway, there were these group of guys. They were collecting all the public fruits, all the fruit trees that were growing grapefruits and tiger fruit and every fruit under the sun, and they were on the pavements. So in California, there was no law about collecting it. I didn't see all of it, but I guess they were distributing it. They had some way of distributing it. So, and they were taking groups of kids out to forage. And I mean, that is a really fun thing to do, isn't it? To go out with the kids, look up at that tree. I actually did it here in London once. Somebody I know wanted to do a little film. So I don't like being on film, but I sacrificed myself, and I showed her in this little vicinity where I live, how much food is just growing there. Grapes, figs, you name it, berries. And then I showed on film, I showed how to make jelly out of rowan berries, you know, the mountain ash thing, and then we did that, and that was the end of the film. I never looked at the film because I can't bear looking at myself, but I just thought it was a lovely, fun thing to do with kids. So you're teaching them about trees, you're teaching them where the thing was, plus it's you can take it then to the families, you can cook with it. So you've got a whole education system going on within that little fun thing to do.
Beautiful. So, oh my goodness. You see, we have launched. This is alive. People are being fed by our network. Thank you, Sailesh. Thank you, Myra. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you all. And now look at this thing just exploding. The world needed a place to come together to end hunger, and we have created that place. Welcome home. And I don't think anyone's in the queue at this point, so if you want to jump in, just jump in.
I just want to say thank you all very, very much. I have to get going soon. So it's always a pleasure to be with you all. It's a wonderful community that you have created here, Jamin. Oh my
goodness, that we're creating. It takes a village to build a community. Remember. So, and we'll if you want to be back at 7 to 9 this evening, we can block off that time and continue if you want. No pressure, since we just figured out the timing today, of course. Anyway, I'll let you go, Sailesh. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness, thank you for leading us into this wonderful. You brought us all together, Sailesh. So here we are.
Kamaya did. Okay.
Kamaya. All right. Please give our thanks to Kamaya, and we'll see you very soon, Sailesh.
Thank you.
Bye, Sailesh.
Bye, Melvin. It's great to see you. Great to see everybody.
I've been here, but I'm working. I got to stay busy. My nose is to the grind, but I'm here listening. It's wonderful.
Sounds good.
Beautiful. Awesome.
Have a wonderful weekend, Dr. Rao, and everyone.
Maddie, all right. Hang in there with us, Maddie. We're just getting, the block party is just getting warmed up. We're 7 hours into a 24-hour block party. We got 17 hours to go. All righty. Well, since Sailesh needed to jump off there, and we've been going at it for a couple hours here, how do people feel about taking a break? Yeah? And how long a break would be good?
Well, I'm just going to grab a quick cup of tea anyway, so whatever, I'm good with anything.
Okay. 10 minutes?
Guys, I'm going to be off from like 1:30 till whenever. I have to do something for Jane Unchained. And I wanted to let you know that this has been incredible. I'm so happy I was able to be on a lot this today. I do want to talk about SRM later, about that methane under the permafrost, because I really want to talk about that. I don't know why I'm so obsessed with that. I'm not sure why. I've just become obsessed with permafrost and methane. Who knows why? Can we talk about that tonight, or is that going to be in the next SRM meeting? Because I don't mind having to wait.
No, I'll tell you what. Whenever you come back, Sarah, we'll prioritize it. You know, if we're in the middle of something, obviously we'll get through that. But I'm just saying, at the first opportunity, when I see you back, sister, we're talking SRM, methane, and permafrost.
I mean, isn't that exciting? Do you get excited about that like I do? I get very excited about this now. I don't know why.
No, Sarah, let me tell you, we started the block party pre-COVID with
because of SRM.
With the main focus being SRM. We got to cool it, folks. And then in the middle of fighting that fire, we got hit with this COVID pandemic craziness. And here we are. So, you know, we're just riding. No, I don't want to use that analogy. We are riding the wave. That's it. We are riding the wave wherever it takes us. And, you know, because the ultimate mission is solving all of our problems holistically and simultaneously. And it just so happens that ending hunger is the best way to unite humanity. And for so many reasons. I mean, it's just the obvious place to start. There's no other way to say it. And so, but ultimately we got to solve all the problems. And, you know, cooling the planet is actually the most urgent of all, in my humble opinion, because we keep overheating. It's all over. I don't care who you love, hate. You just figured out that we got to feed the planet. Oh, great, great. No, bam, we're all gone. Bye-bye, because we overheated, right? So anyway, so we'll delve into that when you come back. In the meantime, we're kicking off.
And we cannot feed the planet if we're overheating, because we won't be able to grow the food we need.
That was another thing I wanted to discuss, was that the temperatures are going up, so the crops are not going to, because we're going to really have food scarcity, because that's why this whole food plants-based program would help. But we just have to make sure, because my friend's not even able to buy seeds. I don't know if you guys heard that, but there's a lot of places that don't even have seeds right now.
Yeah. We've got to solve it holistically. We're not getting on this one moment too soon, my brothers and sisters. We got to do this now. So, all right. Well, we're going to continue talking food when we get back. Let's meet back at quarter after. That's 11 minutes from now. Give everybody a 11-minute break. We'll see you back at quarter after. All right.
Awesome.
Love you all. Great session. See you in a few.